Chelsea Manning has served a tough prison sentence. The sentence that she received was very disproportional. I feel very comfortable that justice has been served. Commuting her sentence was entirely appropriate.
President Obama at his final press conference today addressing the controversial decision to commute the sentence of convicted leaker Chelsea Manning, one of the president's record-breaking 1,597 clemency recipients. The move, of course, enraging national security hawks on both sides of the aisle, including Vice President-elect Mike Pence. Watch.
To commute Private Manning's sentence was a mistake. Private Manning is a traitor and should not have been turned into a martyr.
Joining me now to discuss, Sheriff Paul Babeu, Captain Chuck Nash, and Matthew Whitaker. Sheriff, I've got to start with you. The implications, and I know that the Barack Obama crowd is saying these are typically nonviolent felonies, and I think he's trying to send a message. He's the only president who's ever visited a federal prison, but is he sending the wrong message?
Absolutely. Not just to men and women in law enforcement across America, but to families across America, that their safety, that our laws are not most important. It's that all these other people, that releasing criminals, commuting this many sentences, keep in mind not just the 1,400, but you have 504 of these that were life sentences. So this is wrong. And it's far more than any president all the way back to Nixon. The most was Bill Clinton at 61 commutations. We have from 61 all the way up to nearly 1,400. This is outrageous.
Captain Nash, the outrage is shared on both sides of the aisle. You have Defense Secretary Ash Carter, Senator Manchin, Senator Menendez. These are all Democrats who are they're scratching their head, and many of them are offended by the message that it sends to release Manning. No one understands what drove this. Perhaps it was the new cause célèbre of the LGBT community or the transgender community. What's going on here?
Well, I think you just put your finger on it, Charles. Had Private Manning not been going through government paid-for sex change, I doubt it would have been a blip on the president's radar. But instead, he, she, wherever that is in transition right now, is, responsible for leaking 700,000 pages of classified information from multiple agencies to WikiLeaks, which then got published. It trashed our military relationships and our State Department relationships for several years with foreign countries because they were afraid to talk to us because we were leaking like a sieve. And when you try to put all that together to do a counterintelligence damage assessment, it's not just one source. It's one source feeding multiple 700,000. The permutations from a counterintelligence perspective are staggering.
Yeah, Matthew, I've even read where it had implications that emboldened and even empowered ISIS. But today at his press conference, his final press conference, President Obama said that the sentence, I guess, was too long and that we're wrong, that Manning has actually served time, so he's not sending the wrong message.
Well, it does, and this is a president that appears to not be very serious about the mishandling of classified information to start. And, really Congress is the one that decided, because of the risk that the captain points out of all these potential sources that could be exposed, soldiers on the battleground that have volunteered to defend the freedoms that we all appreciate and oftentimes, unfortunately, take for granted. I think the penalties should be harsh, and the sentencing judge and the prosecutors and, quite frankly, the defense counsel are better situated to sentence a person and participate in the sentencing than a president remotely in Washington, D.C. taking on some cause célèbre in this case.
Sheriff Babeu, we talk often about the recidivism of folks released from Gitmo, the terror suspects, if you will. I'm not sure how many of these people will return to crime, but it does send a message if you are considering, for instance, like Oscar Lopez Rivera, seditious acts against this government, to maybe do it under the right president. You'll serve a short prison sentence and still make a political statement.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a great point, because recidivism, the return to crime, to their old ways, certainly they will. And when we're talking 504 of these who were sentenced to a life sentence, that's the magnitude of this, that these aren't people who made one mistake. In many of these cases, they have a whole series of in their criminal record. And for the president just to release them, certainly we're going to meet these people again. And those crimes should be on the president's head.
Yeah, I think they will be. Gentlemen, thank you all for your expertise tonight. Appreciate it.